All right, today we're going to take the 2017, or I guess 2015 to 2020 8-inch sync display, and we're going to upgrade it to the 12-inch display you kind of see in the more modern 2020 1 Plus vehicles. This works for F-150 and F-250, and we'll jump right into it. Okay, and I also am doing this kind of out of order. I've still got the screen in the box over there, but I've taken this out before, and so I kind of want to get all of this configuration out, and then we'll jump over to the workbench over there, or I guess table over there, and then we'll kind of get all of the components moved over that need to be moved so that we can get the screen into the truck. But we were going to remove the center part here, and I've got a fancy tool for that, which I have misplaced. So I've got this little panel popper. I love these things. They save you a lot of damage on components. So you'll lift that straight up, which will release your back tabs, and it will get it in the upright position. And then you'll need to have your key. You'll turn your ignition on, move this into neutral so you can lift it up and pull it towards you, towards the back of the vehicle, and that will lift this section and the cover out, because you'll need to get to this panel. This whole side will come off, and this panel, this whole side will come off. And while we're here, just make sure you put it back into park, and you have the e-brake on. Don't forget that either. Your box opened up and you've got your cover taken off. You're going to have these two screws. I've already taken them out. Use the tool of your choice. These are also 7mm. Store those to the side, and then you'll pull this forward, which will release your front display here. And that front display will just come unclipped fully. You can see there's a number of clips. And then with that, you'll also have a bunch of connectors back here. So we've got 3 at the top, and then we've got the big boy and the other HVAC control module button or electrical connector. So you'll just pull those. There's a tab at the bottom there. And before I get over to the workbench, I'm just going to pull the other things that I know need to come out. I know this cover needs to come out, so same thing, just pull that straight out. There's some tabs that are attached there, a couple down lower, and then it has like a recess. You can kind of see it right there. That gets locked in to your side panel over there. So same thing, some nice electrical connections. We'll move those out of the way. Those are a little bit easier to get done one-handed. And we'll slide this to where we can function or work with what we need to. So we'll do the same thing on this side here. Pull the 110 and the cigarette lighter or charger receptacle, and then we'll go from there. We'll move over to the workbench after that. We're going to unhook the display because I know that needs to come out. These are the same thing. There's 3 7mm bolts on the left or right side. Once you get the screen released and everything is loose and out, you remove all the connections on the screen. The first one being the antenna, the second one being like the HDMI, and then the third one will be your big main connector, and that connector is what like controls all the APIM, and then the final one just being your USB dongle. Okay, and now that we are on our bench side, we'll see what other things that we need to remove, but packaged extremely well. Tons of foam in here. That's the box it came in. But it took about a week and a half to get here. That box looks in pristine condition, and obviously you can see this one also is very phenomenally packed. We've got a really good wiring, clean wiring harness here. Looks like we've got everything that we'll need to hook it up, obviously. And then we've got, it looks like the modules for the AC and the other components, or the power knobs. And then we've got the actual air vents here that will be moved over. And then these are the different side panels that will kind of replace these. I know there was a lot of questions online of what the difference is between like the Raptor colors. It is hard to tell from the images online, but I think this is a pretty clear depiction of what they look like different. It's a little bit lighter, but I don't think that will bother me because then the next closest gray component's way over here. And I guess the middle console has some gray in there, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. So that's what it kind of looks like. I'm going to pull the instructions up, see what pieces that we may be missing. It does have some pry tools for you. And then same thing, this is that other component that will carry that four-wheel drive module, which is right there. So we'll jump into this and I'll show the comparison between the two screens and keep moving through the install here. Kind of hard to tell, but you can see my dirty screen, and then the new big boy that we've got here. And then in the packaging, we'll slide this over because we need the APM module off of there. It kind of shows all the instructions and installation videos of how to do everything. Next on the instructions, as you can see here, we've got to remove all the screws of the circuit board. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'll go ahead and do that really quick, and then I'll be right back. And for note, those are a T10, if you can kind of see it on there, TR10. And then that's going to lift off, and that will expose the circuit board and everything that's in here. And so then it calls for removing the three 10mm screws. Same thing. It looks like these are TR10s. They are attached to the circuit board as well. There's four on the first circuit board. We'll remove those, set those aside, and then that will expose the control modules or the control knobs, and then we will remove the other 4, it looks like, or 6 for the bottom modules. Let's see. Install the cover knobs and then place the circuit board into the frame. So first you want to remove these ribbons and make sure that they are released and ready to be installed again. They're out of your way. This little white release tab that will free the ribbons and then kind of remove them where they're at. You can kind of see it there. This moves up and down, modulates up and down with your knobs. So I think it's important to take note of the orientation and try not to turn these. I remember seeing them in someone's video that they had issues with that. Seems like it only fits one direction. We'll go ahead and put that in there. We're going to grab our other one, put it in there as well. Don't forget your light covers. Also don't drop them. There's 2 little pegs, so it's going to, first these are only going to sit in one way, it appears, and they'll kind of just rest in there. That's for the lights. And then there's 2 pegs for installing on this side where you can kind of see they're like guidance pegs. And then we'll do the other one here as well. Same thing. You go ahead and grab the light or the light ring, drop that in as best you can. There we go. And then we'll grab our knob and make sure we get this in the right orientation. Same thing. You're going to have guidance pegs on here. Maybe. Yep, same thing. We'll flip it upside down and check it. Looks like we've got tune and we've got volume, and it looks great. Okay, so once you get to this part and you've got your knob installed, you've got 8 screws you need to install. You've got one here, one here, one here, one in the corner, one in this corner, one right next to it, and then, or sorry, just this one here, and then this one. We've got some bags of screws. We've got a 3mm by 16mm and a 3mm by 10mm. On the instructions, you can see that the 3x16s are your upper outers and the ones lower, closest to the install screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in, and then I'll do the 3mm by 10mm on the inner ones that are just a little bit shorter. The one that your device or your truck calls for. Mine has the automatic climate control, so this is the one that was labeled, and I'm gonna use this one. So we'll do that real quick. Okay. Once you've got it all transferred over, it will look like this in the new system, same as what it did on the old one. And then we're going to transfer the circuit board onto this here. We'll kind of make some room here, move some stuff out of the way. All right, next we're going to move the control module. Same thing, keep mind of the measurements of the screws. I'll show you why later on in the video. But 3x10 and 3x16. So we've got 4 that are there, and then we've got 4 right there on the outer edges. So again, just be really mindful of those. And then we're going to grab some screws here and start to tighten everything up. That's going to lift up, which that's okay for right now. Okay, so that's the Ford control module. Here's our plate. You only have 3 holes, and they're going to line up with those 3 screws, which mine had like a green tab to make it easy. I believe that all of them are marked like that, but just in case, you know that those are the correct ones. It doesn't talk about in there is transferring over these modules. I have a blank, but I'll be using all 3 of mine. So I have the hill descent assist, the traction control, obviously the caution, and then auto start stop and the camera. So I'll be transferring those over here so that I can utilize those on the new truck here. And then once you get those buttons transferred over, looks like that. They have 2 presses on the side here. You can kind of see that will release them, and then you push them through the front side of the plate, and then on here you kind of just slide them directly into place. Super painless on that. And then going off a little bit here, you take these out. The your 110, if you have it on that right side, it just pulls out the front just like everything else. Pretty easy. Transfer it over. There's just these little tabs. It's a little tricky because there's 2 per side, so I found that it was best to like release the force on one end, kind of jar it out, and then release the other 4 and then kind of bump it out of there. So that will just transfer in, and then you'll see just boop, snaps right into place. Looks OEM on there. Okay, super easy. Same thing. Just 3 little tabs. You got to push them all at the exact same time. 1, 2, 3. Kind of squeeze it like a claw. And then you can see there's 2 guide pins. So 1 and 2 on the other side. And those will just drop directly in. And you'll hear the nice click, click. And that's in place now. 4-wheel drive will be functioning the same as it was. Trailer backup knob if you've got it. Same thing. Just 2 tabs you have to press in. It was kind of tight in here, so I just used my pick tool and released the one, and then press the other side as I pushed it through as well, similar to the other piece. Okay, then you take the wiring harness and you plug it in here, and then you will plug in the other end of it, which is the one from the truck here. And then you will plug in your antenna, your XM radio, and then your USB hookups. And then this is the antenna, and then this is like the screen, like HDMI port essentially, but I don't know how they use it. Anyway, there's that. And then When you have that, you will have a wire that comes out, which is the white one somewhere hidden under here. That will plug into the screen there, as you can see, and then the other blue one will be there. And then additionally, there is a wire attached to this that you can see that I kind of fed it back there, and it comes out, and it's a USB end, and they said this is used later for software updates. So I was able to feed that directly into my glove box. It'll close up. It's nice and out of the way, and I don't have to see that there anymore. So next, we'll slide this up. We'll hook the 4 screws in, and then once we get those 4 screws in, I'll go ahead and test the screen and see if everything's working before I button up the all the pieces and get it all tied back together. Okay, super important to double check your ribbon cables. I was having issues with the screen or the climate control buttons down here not functioning properly, and I had to double check the ribbons. But now that I've got those ribbons up and running, or up and functioning, I guess, not running, I can go ahead and click the screen on. We'll boot in, we'll go to the climate and mute this. But now I have full functionality of this stuff. And if I start the truck, you can turn the heated steering, all that on, and it functions just the way it's supposed to. So you can switch the modes here. This one works. This turns off and on down here now. And I can still control the fan speed from here. So anyway, this is it. This is working. I'm going to get it all buttoned up, get my speaker back in. And I'm going to put my phone mount thing back up there. But once you get it all plugged in, you're going to have all of these that you'll need to connect, and then just do it in reverse order. I'll post a quick little video here at the end of what it's going to look like, and we should be good to go. And then I'll note whether the airflow is any different or if I've noticed a change in this. I run my AC 99% of the time in the auto mode, so I let the car configure what that is, what it's blowing out in the summer, and I've noticed that it blows cold through the front vents, but when the heater's on, it's usually coming up top anyway, so during the winter I'm not really going to notice that anyway. It'll be a non-issue, but during the summer I'll definitely feel like I may have some issues with that, or functionality differences, or like how it's going to blow versus, you know, these fuller or these bigger open vents. But I don't know, that's just a random thought. But I will show you once it's all buttoned up, and it will look like. But here we are. I'm in Forescan. I got the Raptor screen enabled. Other people have noticed that it's the navigator screen, and you know, we paid for Raptors or F-150s, whatever you want it to be. You can change it, but it's just your splash screen, which is right here. You can choose which option you want to enable on there, and it will change it. Allow it to reset a couple of times to make sure that it's working properly. And with that, I accidentally hit my button there. I can show you what the screen looks like when it kicks on here. So we've got the Raptor synced up. It's looking great. And then I'll try and plug in the CarPlay, but it may disconnect this recording here. But kind of show you everything's synced up. We'll go to the phone before the map loads so it doesn't show you my location, but everything there is working. On the front screen you do get your heated and cooled seats, and the heated steering wheel if you have it as well. It looks phenomenal. So super pumped about this. If I have any other weird quirks or anything that pops up, I'll let you guys know. Oh, and then I can show you the front camera. It doesn't utilize the full screen, which is a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping for some visual upgrades, I guess, if you will. But at the end of the day, you still are getting a slightly bigger display, which is really nice. And then here's what it looks like and what that looks like. So anyway, here it is, the sync upgrade screen. And we've got, you know, everything's functioning as it should. The only other weird thing is it shows Lincoln Navigator here. This is how you get back to your Ford apps and show all of that there. but I'm assuming eventually they'll get that updated to where it just shows Ford. But I know the sync system and ecosystem is a little bit finicky. So anyway, that's what I got. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll try and get to them as quickly as possible. Like I said, I'm pretty familiar with these sync processes and what the fit and finish looks like. And then again, last thing, I mentioned this earlier, there's the silver in the Raptor, and then there's the difference. It is pretty hard to see that it is a different fit and finish than what technically comes with the truck.